Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name's Kevin, I'm the Geek, you're watching Kevin the Geek. And last time out we saw that Ben can get on quite well with his teachers. We got our first interaction, of course, with David Troughton, his teacher, his favourite teacher apparently. Tonight we have the parents' evening. We don't know which child we're looking at, for their for their parents' evening. But if I had to make a prediction, I'd probably guess it's probably likely to be Ben. He's the most, probably the most interesting when it comes to his teachers, his interaction with them. So, I don't know. Let's see if I'm right.
Why are you watching this?
It's a documentary on the Large Hadron Collider, and I'm doing a physics project on it.
Oh, that thing. It's really cool. It can destroy the universe. I can tell you everything you need to know about the Hadron Collider. It could create like this black hole in Switzerland.
Could you please just...
Like when you were being sucked through it, there'd be Toblerones and clogs flying around your ears, and maybe you could get crushed by a windmill. And that could propel us into a parallel universe. Wouldn't living in a parallel universe be cool? I mean, like, I could be the oldest one, and you weren't even born, and we had a panther instead of you.
Please.
A panther?
This is quite...
We could have a penguin.
Mum, what's worse, serious or severe? Well, the Welsh man on the telly said that the terrorist threat has gone from serious to severe.
Oh.
Is that worse?
Not yes.
Sure. Well, I need to know what the terrorist threat is so I know how aware I need to be when I'm on the lookout for suspect packages in the plane.
Listen, darling, honestly.
They'll blow up Big Ben before they get to my school, won't they?
The Higgs boson was put forward as a hypothetical.
The Higgs boson. And that's named after these two people like Mr. Higgs and Mr. Boson, who discovered it. Wouldn't it be cool to have a bacteria named after you, which spread a bubonic plague called the Bentron?
So there's a bubonic plague called the Bentron.
Or Monon. Or
the gay idiotatron.
Well, if you had one, you would be the stuck-up old brothertron. Who's gay?
Dangerously close to stabbing you with my pen.
Benon, the Destructor.
Look, there's always been terrorism. I mean, when I was growing up, it was the Irish.
The Irish?
Well, it's...
Are you sure? The Irish? People like Graham Norton and
Yes.
Jedward.
You know,
Definitely
the universe
Jedward.
should be like contracting and getting smaller, but it's expanding, and scientists have no idea how. But it's kind of stupid because even I can think of some reasons why.
Do you not understand?
What if there's like a rubber band, which I don't know, the protectors of the universe have put around it, try and keep it the same size? What if there's like a massive mutant alien fish which is trying to go to the toilet, but then it isn't working, so the universe is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Is trying to go to the toilet.
What?
No, a fish with the universe inside is trying to go to the
What
toilet.
are
How
you-
come I, an 11-year-old boy, can think of that, and then scientists can't?
But the Irish, they're jolly, they're happy and fun.
No,
so you're saying that they're gonna bomb us too? That's not very reassuring.
lovely people. It's just a tiny, tiny
So
thing.
now I have to worry about...
Look, some risks are so minimal that they're just not even worth worrying about. You're more likely to be hit by lightning.
People can get hit by lightning. I thought it was only trees.
Mostly trees.
Well, scientifically,
Yeah.
people will get hit by lightning first. Right?
Yep, scientifically speaking, I think that is correct.
Sorry I'm late. Passenger action at Victoria. I think they might have lynched a driver.
Yeah, and you're useless.
What's all that noise?
Oh, they're just having a fight about the origins of the universe. Tea?
Yes, please. What time are we setting off?
In about quarter of an hour. So what was today's school like?
Tough. I'm one of 13 supply teachers.
13?
My class's most popular excuse seems to be my pit bull at my homework.
Dad, what's worse, serious or severe?
Hey?
She saw something about the terrorist threat.
Hey, listen, you don't want to worry about all that. Did you know that statistically, this is the safest time ever to be a child in England?
But Ben got mugged.
Yeah, I know, but in the 1500s, he would probably have died in a crusade or caught the plague or...
No, he got mugged today.
What, again?
Afraid so.
Again?
Same spot, Ratley Road.
Just heard your news, Ben. You all right?
Eh? Oh, yeah, I didn't know the squirrel was going to do that.
No, I mean you being mugged.
Oh, they said they had a knife, but they always say that.
Yeah.
I didn't have my phone with me, so they just took my geometry kit.
What's the school doing about this?
Well, what can
Nothing.
we do?
I've got off quite lightly. Ibrahim's been mugged 5 times. Same boys. He asked if he could have a loyalty card.
Oh my god.
Actually quite funny.
It's wrong though, isn't it? The way it's just being accepted. It means there's a whole generation of kids growing up just expecting to be robbed.
Can I become a Catholic?
You want to become a Catholic?
I
Why?
can, can't I? The Pope's giving out invitations.
Well, yeah,
But what?
well, it would be easy for you to become a Catholic if you believed in God.
Well, I only stopped believing in him because he was annoying me, like sending earthquakes and tsunamis. Also, whenever I asked for something or anything, he would always just ignore me.
So why do you want to become a Catholic?
Because I want to go to the same big school as Tanya. And she's going to a Catholic
Oh,
school.
okay.
Tanya.
This girl
Well,
again.
we've talked about this, haven't we, darling? And just because Tanya's doing something doesn't mean to say that you have to do it too.
But I like Tanya. Tanya's my friend. Don't you like her?
No!
Why have I got to look after Karen?
Because me and Mum and Ben are going to be at Ben's parents' evening.
Aha, yes!
Yeah, by the way, if Mr. Hunsler mentions Lucy Barker and the formaldehyde, that was a misunderstanding.
But Dad, how am I meant to have a proper band practice with a 9-year-old in tow?
Just stick her in the corner so you can read or draw or learn the catechism.
And the what?
Look, all I'm saying is just because Tanya and her twice-divorced mother want to become Catholics to get into this school doesn't mean you have to follow suit.
But I like Tanya. Tanya's my friend. She picked me to be in her entourage.
Yeah,
Her
well, you shouldn't
entourage?
outrank you.
Bloody hell. Fireworks in daytime. It's fireworks all year now. Do you remember when it used to be fireworks night? Just one night. Just like it used to be Christmas Day. Christmas starts in mid-October now.
Yeah.
Halloween costumes are on sale in August. I hate Halloween, I'd ban it.
You can't ban Halloween. Although, you should ban Guy Fawkes Night. Because all the bangs from the fireworks are really cruel to the pets. They scare them. And that's not fair on the pets at all. Also,
Yes.
can we have a pet?
Well, we've tried pets.
Yeah, but I don't mean like a goldfish or something you can flush down a toilet. I mean an actual mammal, a dog, or a
You had a
cat,
dog
or
last
gerbil,
week.
or an ocelot.
An ocelot.
Yeah, it's this kind of
a
leopard,
big cat.
but it's small enough to put in a car when you go on holiday.
You can't keep jungle animals in houses.
But Michael Jackson had a chimpanzee and it only attacked 2 people.
Lots of candles and lovely spangly costumes.
You can't have a chimp.
How about
Hey.
a skunk then?
Can't keep
Skunk.
skunks as pets, Ben.
You can. A boy in school keeps them. And he wants to sell some.
You're pretty much a skunk already.
Yeah, a boy in Jake's year, Oliver.
No.
He does. Ibrahim told me. He said, Oliver in year 11 has got some skunk to sell. There should be skunks, shouldn't it?
Oh.
Rules that stays the same, like sheep. Why can't we say sheeps? Because it must be really confusing for shepherds.
Actually, Ben, why don't you go upstairs and collect up all your dirty laundry and then divide it up into colours and whites and darks?
What? All my dirty laundry.
Yes.
I'll take you a while.
Woman's laundry obsessed.
Skunk? That's dope, isn't it?
Strong dope.
And Jake's mate Ollie is selling it.
Whoa. We've got this from Ben via Ibrahim. That is like reading a Wikipedia entry posted by Jeffrey Archer. We shouldn't jump to any conclusions.
No, you're right. I bet he is selling dope, though.
Sue,
Well, he's the type. Very alternative, wears skinny
There
jeans.
isn't a-
What if he's been selling it to Jake? I told you Jake's been hiding something. He's been very...
why should you just take it?
He's been a
one step at
teenager.
time?
We'll have to broach it with him. Jake!
Oh god, here we go.
Just take it nice and gently, eh?
Okay. Jake!
This is going to go
Can you
so
come in
well.
here, please?
We don't want him to go on the defensive because that'll get us nowhere.
No, fair enough.
Yeah, just ask, can you buy some skunk?
Jake, we just welcome your input on something. It's come to our attention. Well, you know your mate Ollie.
Yeah?
Well,
Is he selling drugs?
What?
Is he selling skunk?
No, where on earth did you get that from?
Well, it was just something that Ben heard.
Ben? You're basing this on information from Ben?
Just something that Ben heard that he didn't
You're
understand.
actually listening to Ben, the boy who told his class that he bumped into Barack Obama in Lidl's.
Yes, but
I'm not doing drugs.
We're not saying you are.
No, you're accusing my friend Ollie of being a pusher.
No.
Are there kids pushing drugs?
Well, yes, obviously, it's a school. But I'm not doing drugs and Ollie's not selling drugs.
So why did Ben...
Oh, it's a joke.
So why did Ben say...
This is a
So
total
why
joke.
did Ben say...
You're both
a
the
kid
joke.
called Oliver
Pathetic.
in your year...
It's not the same Oliver. This is so stupid. Why am I even standing here and listening and answering these questions?
He was going to say it's not that Oliver. That's what he was going to say.
Can I have a rat?
What are you doing?
Michael Jackson had a rat, and he wrote a song about a rat called Ben. And it was a sort of rat Spartacus. It led a rat rebellion against humanity. Did you name me after it, Ben?
No, strangely, we didn't name any of our children after psychotic rodents.
What about a micropig?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, John at work bought a micropig. Weighs more than he does now. Lives in his bathroom.
What about Tasmanian devils? Because they're endangered, and we could, we could have like a captive breeding program, and then
Captive
about 10
breeding
years
program.
later, we could post them back to Australia.
How'd you post the Tasmanian devil?
Recorded delivery. What about pandas?
Okay, Ben, that's...
What about a chameleon? Because
Chameleon?
they change colour, and then
Ben,
you could have
not
the
that...
awesomest games with them. Because you could put one in front of the telly, and you could change the channel, and see how fast it takes it to keep up.
Ben.
What about a zebra?
Okay, Ben, that's enough.
Scorpions would be a good idea, because they're too small to do anything.
Apart from kill you. Ben, you're meant to be upstairs sorting out the laundry. Can you go upstairs now, please?
Clearly, from what Jake Allport said, there is a boy in his year called Oliver selling drugs. And according to his year list, there's only one other boy in the year called Oliver, and it's that one.
Do we know him?
Well, he only came this year. Bit of a golden boy. Captain of the football team. All right, sweetheart?
If I become a Catholic, will I be allowed to eat bacon?
Yes.
Oh, well then that's right then.
Just sit on this information.
Oh, I don't know, see.
Well, if Jake was selling drugs and some other parents found out, you'd want them to tell us, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but what evidence do we quote? You know, some slip of the tongue from Jake and some gossip from Ben.
It's such a difficult call.
If we get it wrong, it could all get very messy. It could make life very tricky for Jake.
Yeah, maybe I'm overreacting. I mean, it is only one kid.
Do I really need to go to this?
Yes, it's your first parents' evening, and it's so everybody can discuss how you're settling in.
But I'm settling in fine. I mean, they give us mentors.
Mentors? That's a good idea.
Yeah, I got given a year 10 called Andrew.
All right. And what sort of helpful stuff has he told you?
He says there's no CCTV behind the cricket nets, and to remember that they can't search your underpants. Can we get a tiger then?
No!
I saw this video on YouTube of two people who had a pet tiger in their house, and it was fine, provided that you don't turn your back on the tiger, because then it might mistake you for prey.
Is that so?
Oh,
Okay,
this Tiger
everyone,
King.
Let's go!
If I'm a Catholic, will I be allowed to drink alcohol?
It's virtually compulsory.
Oh god, it's a really difficult conundrum that they've got there. Although, I think you kind of have to, on some level, take it at face value, because it's not like Ben has come out and said, "Oh yeah, there's this guy Ibrahim says that this guy Oliver is selling drugs." He's saying, he's presumed it to mean the animal, skunks, rather than the common name for skunk. So he has to. He's got to have heard this, because otherwise, how else would it have come about? Whether this kid Ibrahim is fabricating it or whatever, that's a different matter. But it should at least be looked into and investigated.
Why couldn't I go to Tanya's instead?
Because she didn't invite you.
Well, Tanya's fun. I'm bored with this family.
All right, Karen.
I have at least stayed home instead.
Well, that would be illegal, Karen, because 9-year-olds have to be with someone.
Why?
I don't know. Imagine something happened. I mean, what if there was a fire?
If there was a fire,
Yeah.
I'd leave the house in an orderly fashion,
Uh-huh.
assemble myself at the fire assembly point,
Karen.
and await further instructions.
Right. Well,
Where is our fire assembly point?
Good question.
We haven't got one, really.
You tell me all these things about being a responsible parent. You don't even have a fire assembly point.
So if
Yeah.
I look after her, then I can go to Max's after band practice. That's the deal, yeah?
Yeah, okay.
All right, come on then, Karen.
Oh, what do you know? A policeman. Because you really need one here. Ready to kettle the threat to public order that is apparent this evening.
We could report Ben's mugging.
Yeah, okay. Oh, no, he's one of those toy policemen that'll only give us a leaflet. OK, Ben.
Hey, Ibrahim!
Oh, no, Ben, don't wander off.
Hello there.
Oh, hi. Wasn't expecting to see you.
Yes, well, we've got a daughter in this year, Cara.
Pete, this is Jenny and Martin.
Hello.
Oliver's parents.
All right, Oliver.
Oh.
Star.
Yes, well, he settled in really quickly, thank goodness. Because, you know, we had to take him out of his old school.
Really?
No choice, really. Because there was a boy selling drugs to pupils. Can you believe that?
Oh.
God.
Well, the truth of it actually is the whole school was awash with drugs. Apparently it's a lot better now.
Is it? Well, actually, well...
They should have got to the bottom of it. Found out all the facts, then acted on the basis of the facts.
Martin's a lawyer.
Right. A lawyer.
I was suing them, obviously.
Suing them.
To be honest, you can't just blame the school. Some of the parents must have known. I mean, if someone knew your kid was involved with drugs, you'd want them to tell you, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
Well, absolutely. We would want them
Go on, then.
to tell them. We...
Go on.
Exactly.
Let's not make it any more awkward. Let's just do it.
Interestingly...
Oh, Mr. Maynard's free. Sorry, if we can just nip in. Catch you later.
Well, we've got to tell them now. You heard what she said, and she's right.
But we still can't be sure that their son...
Come on. What they said all but confirmed it.
Come on, you two, Mr. Blaine's free. Don't worry about the smell. It's just him.
I think I'll do like a big, raspy Kings of Leon vocal on this one.
Go easy, don't forget your asthma.
do you play Michael Bublé songs?
No.
But you like Michael Bublé.
No, I don't.
Yeah, it
I'm
does.
confused.
But you sing along with him in his videos.
Bublé is good.
Ironically, I'm being ironic, sending him up.
So whose
Yeah.
song do you play?
We write our own songs.
Oh, are these the lyrics?
No.
Why does he want to do that to his bitch?
Blaine.
Oh, God. Oh, I knew it. I knew that Jake liked the boob.
Do you want Ben to sit in?
Actually, Ben, why don't you relax over there while I have a chat with your mum and dad? Okie dokie. The first thing I should say about Ben is that he's very bright.
Uh-huh.
But in teaching terms, he's quite...
Challenging. Energetic.
He's quite...
Difficult. Abnormal.
He's quite challenging.
Challenging.
He's challenging, yeah. But don't get me wrong, I find no fault at all with his enthusiasm for chemistry. None at all. It's just that combination of energy and curiosity and impulsiveness, it does cause certain health and safety issues.
Is there anything we can do to...
Possibly, if you could get him to address his fascination for sulfuric acid.
Mr. and Mrs. Brockman.
Hi there. Do you want Ben to...
Actually, Ben, why don't you go and take it easy over there while we chat through the boring stuff, eh?
Oh, dear.
Right, well, teaching Ben is very,
Challenging. Difficult.
stimulating.
Stimulating.
And he's got a real passion for history, which is good, obviously. Although it can have a downside. For instance, he did a presentation about the Middle Ages.
Is this his reenactment of the symptoms of the Black Death?
Yes, quite a few pupils found it very frightening. In fact, Lucy Barker was off school for 2 days. I should have checked what he was planning to do, although it's very sudden, the way he threw himself onto the ground and started frothing at the mouth. That was... Well, I still haven't worked out how he did that.
Can I go for a walk?
No, I'm responsible for you.
Well, then where's the fire assembly point?
Up my arse.
You're Tanya's big brother, aren't you?
That's right.
Tanya's cool. I'm one of her friends.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm turning Catholic.
Really? So, which dwarf are you then?
What?
Tanya gives all of her friends dwarfy nicknames, you know, dopey, grumpy, frumpy, stinky, clingy. Which are you?
I don't know.
I think you might be clingy.
Jeez.
Karen, you're getting in the way. Just go and sit down over there.
Hello, Mr. and Mrs. Brockman. Hello, Ben. Actually,
I'll go and sit over there.
Oh, bless him.
well, teaching Ben is very, very
Interesting.
special.
Right.
First term, it's always hard settling in.
Well, yeah, and it must be quite weird for him too, having an older brother in the school.
He has a brother here.
Yes, Jake Brockman, year 11.
Jake. Ben is Jake's brother.
Yes.
Jake is Ben's brother.
Yes.
Right, gosh, what? Not a half brother with a different.
No, brother.
Crikey.
Wait, what do you think this is, John? Mate, it's clearly 4 and 4. No, it's not. It's 2 and 4. Well, your guitar sound is stupid anyway. It's 2 and 4.
Oh.
Well, you're...
This is so difficult.
I don't know, maybe you're right. Maybe we should just tell them.
It's just...
Excuse me. Is there any chance that we could just nip in ahead of you? Only your Ben's parents aren't you, so you might take quite a long time.
No, be our guest. Where is Ben?
Oh, he's over there somewhere playing imaginary cricket with Ibrahim.
Hello again.
Oh, hello.
Are you waiting to see Mr. Hunslet?
Yes.
About Ben?
Yes.
Is there any chance we could...
Please, go ahead.
God damn
Clara
it.
with you?
Oh, no. Her brother's looking after her at home.
All right, Oliver.
Good grief, no. No, George, our eldest. No, Oliver doesn't do babysitting. He just bought himself a scooter. So he's forever whizzing about here, there, and everywhere, all hours of the day and night. You know, one of his friends rings up and he's off. Whoosh! All over town.
It's nice. Look, the thing is...
Yes.
Your son's stealing drugs.
What?
Sam.
This is the thing.
Ralph's Great Dane has just had puppies, and we could...
No, we couldn't.
Shoot.
God damn it.
How are you going to tell them?
I've really no idea. I'll just set off before I'd worked it out. Look, maybe we should just tell the school and let them deal with the situation. Yes, we are, and no, you can't.
Oh my God.
Mr. and Mrs. Brockman, as Ben's form teacher, I'm here to give the overview, as it were, and I have to say I find Ben,
Challenging. Stimulating. Special.
No, I was going to say a pain in the arse, if I'm honest.
Oh, okay. No, fair enough.
I mean, very bright and all that, and very popular, but I mean, there've been quite a few issues.
Oh my God.
Okay, let's see what we got here.
He's got his own file.
Oh, yes.
Oh dear. Who's that? Hey, bastard!
But those 19 incidents apart, you know, he is slowly settling in. Anything you'd like to ask me?
Well, this doesn't relate to Ben, but we are concerned that there may be a drug problem in the school.
Is this an official complaint?
Well, we're not sure.
Because obviously if it was an official complaint, the school would have to take it extremely seriously, and that would set in motion a number of procedures.
Good. Well,
provided there was evidence, hard evidence. Do you have hard evidence?
God damn it.
Ish. Well, not first-hand evidence as such. More second-hand evidence. Sort of rumor from a source.
How reliable
Rumor
is
has
this
it.
source?
I can't get it!
I mean,
we don't want to make an official complaint.
All righty. Well, if that's everything, only...
Actually, there is something else. Ben has already been mugged twice this term.
Class average, I'm afraid.
Well, what's the school proposing to do about it?
Well, what can we do?
You could ask for plainclothes patrols,
We've suggested that. But the police say they have other manpower priorities. Like booking me for speeding at 2 in the morning on a perfectly clear road.
Look, I happen to be a teacher, and I feel that this school is not taking its responsibilities seriously enough. You have a duty of care.
Whose child is this, please?
Oops.
Only I found her wandering in the car park.
Okay, settle down.
God damn it.
Gymnastics, all right?
What do you make of my teachers? I'd like to be a teacher.
You want to be a teacher?
If the professional wrestling doesn't work out.
A teacher?
Yeah, like you. But less moany. I mean, teaching's great, because you get to go on school trips even when you're old.
Yeah, I mean, obviously teaching is brilliant, but there are lots of other career options that you
Quite like a job involving travel.
Right, like...
An explorer. Or a human cannibal.
Human cannibal. Well, that
I could
would
be a doctor, I guess.
Now, that's good.
And then, when I get good enough, I could create an 8-foot massive human with bulletproof skin
I was thinking more of
and
healing.
laser vision.
Come
When
on,
you're
just
dead,
getting-
I could take your arm, and then maybe one of your legs. Because you're quite tall.
I haven't got an organ donor card. These
You'll be dead.
I'm not sure these are really
I
careers.
could be a paratrooper. I'm not really sure if they have parachutes or not, but then...
You'd hope they would. How are they going to land?
You're right, Mummy. Tanya is a right cow.
I never said that.
Yes, you did. To Daddy.
Yeah.
No, I was on the toilet.
Kids
I think
know.
I need some new friends. I'll go on Facebook tomorrow and get some. And I don't want to be Catholic anymore.
Right.
They have all these silly rules about women, and I think it would have been quite hard for me to become Pope.
Well,
That's true.
it's their loss.
Or I could be like an overlord or warlord. And like, I sit in my kind of big throne room.
Hang on, did he say sit or shit? It sounded like he said like I could shit in my big throne room.
It's their loss.
Or I could be like an overlord or warlord. And like, I sit in my kind of big
Is that just me? Did that not sound like shit?
throne room. And I could sit there with one of my dead enemies as a footrest.
It's much easier just getting a degree and then...
Yeah, but then for that you've got to do all that work.
Look, these are all really interesting career options. But you know, I think you could aim a bit higher, because unusual kids like you often end up doing something
Unusual.
exceptional.
I'm unusual.
Yeah.
How am I unusual?
Well, you know, there's a thing... It's a... No.
Can I become Archbishop of Canterbury?
Maybe one day.
What's Canterbury like? Does it have a Nando's?
Probably.
Probably these days.
Ben did a drawing of me as a dragon. I rather like that.
I've just put the milk bottles out. There are 2 foxes sitting, waiting by the gate.
Well, it's Ben's night.
Jake's late. Back by 10:30, we said.
What time is it now?
10:33. Shall we ring him?
Best not. He'll feel like we're anxious.
But I am anxious.
Well, so am I, but we don't want to communicate our anxiousness to him, do we?
No, I suppose you're right. I know, I could text him. A text is like a less anxious version of a phone.
No, it's not. It's even
He's only a
worse.
few minutes late. He'll be back in a sec.
Okay. If he's not back by 10:38, I'll text him.
10:40 maybe.
Okay, yeah, 10:40.
We were right to let him stay out, weren't we?
Yeah, of course we were. I mean, you've got to let them take some risks. It's just working out which ones.
Although I am going to have a chat with Ben about the sulfuric acid.
Yeah, that's probably wise.
Didn't want to make him excited at bedtime.
10:35. I could text him. I could make it jokey.
We said 10:40.
The body of a young man was discovered.
Text him.
Hi.
Hi.
Sorry I'm late. The bus took ages to come. You weren't worried, were you?
Good God, no.
No, not at all.
Not in the least bit worried.
Not in the slightest.
Right, well, I'll just go up to bed then.
Good night.
Yeah, no. Nice to have you back.
What you say that for?
I don't know.
You've communicated anxiety to him now.
I couldn't help it. It just came out.
Do you think that Oliver tried to sell drugs to Jake?
Well, maybe. I mean, I don't know. We just have to trust in his common sense, don't we?
I suppose so.
That's wise.
We did do the right thing about Oliver and the drugs, didn't we?
We couldn't just sit on that information. That would have been irresponsible.
We had to tackle it somehow.
Exactly, and we were right to bring it to the attention of the school.
They won't know that anonymous note was from us, will they?
No, I did it in block capitals. We'll be fine.
Oh, I somehow think that is going to come back. Okay, everybody, apologies. You may have just noticed there that I had a bit of a technical issue, which luckily was right after the end of the reaction, so I didn't have to worry too much with like, having to re-record the video or anything. So I am only having to effectively re-record my outro here and to give you my thoughts on the episode. You will notice, obviously, I'm wearing something different. This is about 3-4 days after I actually recorded the reaction. So bear with me. I may obviously forget some things of the stuff that happened in the episode as I'm trying to talk this through. But I really liked this episode. I really, really did. And I think, I mean, obviously you had the thing with like the Jake and the Karen, you know, doing the band practice and everything, and that was fine. I was just kind of doing a little bit of a continuation of their story and how they're progressing. What I did really find interesting was more specifically the stuff around the education aspect, you know, with the school, with Ben, because we've spoken many times on the channel in different Outnumbered reactions, how it is probably very highly likely that the character of Ben is a child with some form of special educational needs. He may be autistic, he may be ADHD, he may be some other format of that. And of course, I am a former teacher myself. I have worked in mainstream schools. I have also, as part of my training, I did do a placement in a more a specially designed school, and you know, we're dealing with kids of a nature who may be behaviourally challenged, and some of whom are very far down the route of kind of being, well, in a way, almost wanting anger management issues, and some others just being very heavily autistic or ADHD or whatever. So I can give you a certain amount of input and personal experience on this particular one. Now, obviously, in terms of the situation regarding like the muggings and dealing with drugs in schools and things like that, that unfortunately is very common. That is so common. Obviously, predominantly more so in the bigger city schools, more so than in your general towns and things. But there are definitely kids that do that. I mean, even literally in the job that I'm currently doing, you know, working with the police, you know, there is a case at the moment where effectively there is a child aged around 16 who has been charged. Obviously, I can't say too much more with that, but has been charged with allegations of drug dealing. You know, is he guilty or not? That is for the courts to decide. I have no input on that. I can only do what I need to do for my aspect of the job. But, you know, we have people, you know, allegedly doing these kind of things. And I think part of the issue that you've got when it comes to the police is you have obviously suggestions in this episode that they don't treat things like this as a high priority. And that's not the case. Obviously, when it comes to the police, obviously, most of the things they're going to be dealing with are the frontline emergency stuff, first and foremost. You know, so if there is a murder that's going on, or a very high level domestic abuse kind of case, or if you've got like a road traffic accident, you know, and there's a serious injury or whatever, of course, naturally, those are going to take ultimate number one precedence in most cases, and the police are going to go and have to deal with those. And And when you have more of those, it means that, unfortunately, some of the more lower level crimes, and unfortunately, something along the lines of a child being mugged on the way home from school, one could argue that is a lower level crime, especially as it is technically past tense by that point. It won't be as high on the list of priorities compared to some other cases. That is not to say that the crime is any more or less important, but a lot of times it's first come, first serve. You've got to deal with the emergency stuff that you can potentially stop right there and then, or of course you may potentially have to save someone's life. That has to ultimately come first. So it's difficult. I have a lot of sympathy for the police. They do a very, very good job in most cases. People may disagree. People will form their own opinions about the police services, and you're welcome to have your opinions, but do always try and have it with an open mind and try and understand the difficulties that police officers are placed under. In the same way that I think that people misunderestimate teachers in schools. Honestly, the amount of times I hear people going, "Oh, it must be great to be a teacher. You work 9 till 3, you get to go home, you get all of the summer holidays to yourself, you get 6 weeks of summer holidays, that must be incredible." No. Nothing could be farther from the truth. If you are a good teacher, if you are a dedicated teacher, and I'm not talking even just about newly qualified teachers here. I can say with first-hand experience from my mentor when I was doing my training, this was a woman who had been teaching for about 30, 40 years. She had a family. Her husband worked long hours. She had a couple of kids. And she had, for her credit, worked in the same school and the same year group for all of that time. So she knew her job really well. She knew what she was teaching. Yes, there were adaptations she had to make over the years, maybe go from blackboards to whiteboards to interactive whiteboards, using more technology and just adapting the way that you generally teach. But for most importantly, for the core subject of what she's teaching, in most cases, it didn't really change that much. And she is still a woman that was waking up every morning about 6 a.m. She is then getting herself ready for school. She's getting her family ready for their working day and for their school day. She's arriving at school about 7 o'clock in the morning. She's then spending about an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes getting her classroom ready for the morning lessons. Then obviously the kids are coming in. She's then teaching her lessons. She has 15 minutes in break time to then prepare maybe a couple of extra things, maybe get a quick drink to go to the toilet. And that's, of course, if she's not on playground duty or anything. Then comes lunchtime, and most of the time you're literally eating a sandwich in your classroom whilst you're preparing all your lessons for the rest of the day, and maybe trying to do a little bit of marking where you can to help yourself with the stuff that you do in the morning. But then at the end of the day comes, 3 o'clock comes, the kids all come. But that's not the end of the day. No. You are then preparing all the stuff for the following day. You're probably most of the time there in school till around about 4:30, 5 o'clock. Then you go home, you have to do your dinner for the day. You have to do your family's dinner, and maybe help them with their homework. Then you're doing your marking for the following day and trying to keep on top of everything and make sure that all your records are. Honestly, the life of a teacher is so much more than you just think it's 9 till 3. And then, of course, when it comes to summer holidays, honestly, most teachers will get maybe a week worth that they can actually have to themselves in that summer break. Because again, what they're doing, realistically, you are planning your lessons for the upcoming year. You're writing long-term lesson plans. You're having to write medium-term lesson plans, which cover a whole term, and that's kind of like a general week-by-week thing. And again, of course, if you're doing primary, you've got all these different subjects to do, and then of course you'll be then having to do your weekly lesson plans and your daily lesson plans, all of this kind of stuff, which has to be done, because obviously if Ofsted turn up, they are going to ask to see that. They want to see your long-term plans, medium, short-term plans, daily plans. They want to see everything. So the life of a teacher is hard. Just saying it right there and then. But where I want to talk about, of course, is with special educational needs. And I apologise, it turned a little bit more rambly than I had done maybe in the original video, so apologies for that. But since kind of since I did the original kind of outro, I did do a little bit more research and to try and refresh my memory of some of the stuff that I just couldn't really remember. So in a way, it's kind of helpful that I'm having to redo this outro because I can give you a little bit more in-depth information, from a teacher's perspective. Now, with special educational needs, ultimately, up until around about the late 70s, I think it was about 1978, most kids, when it came to special educational needs, they often were neglected. If they did manage to identify that they were of a form of a special educational need, which of course there wasn't as many technical terms at that time compared to what there is now, of course, with dyslexia and dyspraxia and all these various different things. But up until that point, most of the time, kids were either labelled just as stupid or slow, dunces with a dunce hat, they maybe get caned, whatever. And often they would just be segregated. So in a school, you'd have the normal kids in your mainstream schools, then you'd have to take them out of the mainstream school and put them into these especially kind of, schools to deal with these kids. A lot of whom are then suffering a lot of traumatic, and emotional responses from being forced maybe away from some of their friends that they've grown up to know and everything. And it was around about 1978 that there was I think it was called the Warnock Report. And that was a report that tried to focus on the needs of children with disabilities and with learning difficulties and just anyone that needed more support in the educational system. So they did this report, and then that led to the Educational Act from 1981, if I remember correctly. Now that one took a lot of input from this Warnock report and really tried to focus then on basically reforming special educations, and those children with special educational needs, therefore known kind of as SEN schools or SEN children or SEN classrooms and things. And what they wanted to do ultimately with these reforms is they wanted to integrate kids with special educational needs into mainstream schools by and large. Yes, they would still have some slightly separate schools, and that would be for those with the really, really severe levels of special educational needs. But they wouldn't have nearly as many that were being sent away. And so ultimately, you had these kind of reforms that were coming in the 80s, and they sort of carried through into the 90s and the 2000s, into the early 2010s. And ultimately, they tried to give more responsibilities to the local authorities to make sure that they had funding and also access and the ability to offer more support for these kids, but also to give more rights to parents as well. So it was more rights in terms of generally the education of their children, including the right to be consulted about their education and about their needs and the requirements, and also more importantly to then be able to appeal decisions that may be made about their child's education. And then there was also that further issue when they're going, well, actually, kids are limited to currently that the provisions for these kids literally ends when they leave school, which again, they're thinking, well, that's not really enough. They need to do more. So they introduced provisions and requirements for young people with special educational needs to have those provisions to be able to transition them into either further education like colleges and universities or indeed employment. So this was quite a significant step in being able to give kids more ability to support themselves. And right at the end of this period where this next kind of level came in, which was the Special Educational Needs and Disability Regulations in 2014, it was in 2012/13. That's when I did my my training for to become a primary school teacher, and ultimately, excuse me, they up until that point they'd sort of been going with these 81 regulations and the Educational Act. But then they wanted to kind of go a bit further, and so they introduced the. God, sorry, I'm gonna have to read this to remind myself of this one, because, like I said, this is where my knowledge is a little bit less or so. It was the Special Educational Needs and Disability Regulations from 2014, which basically was procedures to do kind of a lot of the stuff that was kind of done previously, but ultimately it was to make sure excuse me, it was to make sure that there was more budgets being made, and also more personal budgets. So not a generalized pot that would cover, the 20 schools that you've got in your county or whatever, but more of a personal budget that would go towards individuals and their, I can never remember what it stands for, but it's the EHC plans. It's the Education, Health and Care Plans. Sorry, I had to try and remember that one. So kids with special educational needs, and this is what is kind of in place currently, they would have education, health and care plans. So it wouldn't just be down to just education, but it's more the wider kind of ability to kind of support them either in the NHS and in foster homes and in care homes and various things like that. So ultimately, there needed to be more time limits to make sure that faster responses were being made to deal with a huge backlog that was happening at the time. And of course, these personal budgets that were being put in place for kids. I do apologise, I'm giving you a lot of information. I really do appreciate if you have stuck with me to this point. I will be giving you a bit more of my thoughts specifically. But I thought it's good to give you a bit of an overview. So there was more plans and more budgets tailored to the individual kids, which basically gave them more choice and kind of control for the individuals over the support that they received. So before that, in the original kind of middle kind of period, if you were a child, you were identified as having educational needs, the school or the governing body or whoever it was would decide ultimately what they think is right for you. Sometimes the parents can try and appeal it or go against it and maybe try and go for something else. But if the money wasn't there, they couldn't really do much about it. But if you, as an individual child, have a budget allowed to you, there is potentially more that can be done for said child. So yeah, that's kind of where we're up to at this currently stage with educational needs. Now, this episode of Outnumbered, I'm just going to see when this falls. I think this probably would have been ballpark about 2012, 2013, if I'm right. Series 4 was 2011. Okay, so the year before I trained to become a teacher, actually. So yeah, this would have fallen in that middle stage. So if Ben was a child in this kind of situation, ultimately what would have been happening is there would be more knowledge about educational needs. There would be more knowledge about things like autism and ADHD and other kind of neurological, neurodivergent kind of conditions. And so more would be done to try and assist Ben. However, this is where ultimately a lot of the problems come in. This is where there's a lot of complaints in schools from not just parents of the children and the children themselves who are, sometimes having to fight what feels like a very, very heavy losing battle. But ultimately, what we are finding is that parents just feel that they're not getting the support. And that comes down to the fact that teachers in mainstream schools do not have, in my personal opinion, and from anecdotes of other people that I spoke to within the profession, people don't have enough training when it comes to special educational needs. Like I said, when I did my teacher training, now bear in mind, I had done a 3-year undergraduate degree. I then applied for a postgraduate degree at my local university where I'd been trained to become a teacher. That was a 1-year course, okay? So for some people, they've done like an undergraduate degree that is kind of really helpful in the area in which they're looking to go into. For me, I didn't have as much knowledge because I did originally musical theatre because I thought I want to be a drama teacher. So using musical theatre gives me a bit more knowledge of the stuff. And then I learned the teaching side of things. But ultimately, then when I changed focus and I go, I'm actually going to be in primary school because I work well with kids, I then realised how much more there is to learn. And I'm doing so much reading. But ultimately, how that year operated, I was at the university for about 6 weeks originally, so from about September to mid-October. And I am having some certain lessons on how to teach certain subjects. So we have a couple of lessons where we're looking at science, for example, and ways to make science accessible and exciting for kids. Then maybe some maths lessons, some English lessons, some history, and all the different topics, and including actually, you have to even do things like swimming lessons. You have to learn how to teach swimming lessons because some schools actually do teach swimming. But then once I've done that, I then went into my first placement, and that took me from roughly the middle of October to the end of November / start of December, just kind of depending which area you were in. And that's about 6 weeks, and that's where you're then in the school, literally with a class. You have a mentor. You are teaching the lessons for the most part. The main classroom teacher will kind of observe and make notes and all this kind of stuff. So I'm literally learning on the job. Then that kind of period ends. And so for maybe 2 more weeks in December, I then go back to the university and we're looking at some of the more kind of advanced level stuff, because you have to do some like master's level modules of things. So we're looking at some of that and looking into the really deep psychology kind of aspects of it. But then we get into the new year, and so seemingly I've got like 6 months left, and I've done nothing relating to special educational needs. The only reason that I did the 2-week placement that I did fell basically in between my next placement and the brief period that I was back at university. So I had to choose basically, do I go back to university and do a few more lessons about that, or do I take a little bit more hands-on experience and go into one of these special educational needs schools? And again, this is the ones where they're dealing with much more in-depth stuff. And here's the problem. Those schools are tough. They are insanely tough. I mean, the way that we've heard Pete talk about it in these classes, and that's just like for a mainstream school. You take those kind of things, you need to dial it up by 50 to appreciate some of these kids. On this 2-week period, I was being spat at, I was being sworn at, I had chairs being thrown at me. Like I said, this is the really complex educational needs stuff. But I'd still had no training. I went into this placement, but I had no experience, no knowledge, no training on how to interact with these children who have got incredibly complex needs. And then obviously, I carry on the rest, I do my other placements and so on and so forth, and I get to the end of the year, and literally my only experience has been that. So ultimately, while the regulations are trying to bring kids into mainstream education, most teachers do not have the knowledge, and then therefore by proxy, they don't have the skills to be able to deal with these children with these complex emotional and educational needs. It's hard enough as a teacher when you have a classroom of maybe 30 kids that you are trying to teach to maybe 3 or 4 different ability levels. And especially if you don't have a teaching assistant, which I always say, teaching assistants are worth their weight in diamonds. Honestly, a good teaching assistant, you want to hold on to them for as long as you can. Most of them obviously do end up going on to be incredibly amazing teachers themselves, so you kind of can't begrudge them for that. But ultimately, they are incredible. They make your job as a teacher so much easier, because in reality, when I'm creating these lesson plans for these kids, I'm having to, like, say for example, one school that I taught at was what's called a 1-form entry. So one class is the year group. If a 2-form entry, that's 2 classes make up, year 3 or year 4 or 5 or whatever. But it was one class for the entire year. So I have 30 kids in this classroom, for example, and if we take maths as an example, which was a really difficult one, and we're level 6 maths, so they're going up to their SATs. At that time, you had levels 3, 4, and 5 were the main 3 levels. So I had to adapt all of my maths lessons to deal with those 3. But that wasn't all. I then had the below level 3s, the real underachievers. So that's 4 ability levels. Then I had 6 kids who were smart enough and clever enough to go for level 6 maths. So I had 5 different ability levels that I had to cater my lesson for. So if I'm talking about division or multiplication or whatever, I have to think of 5 different ways to teach each individual group to hopefully come to the outcome of the lesson what they need to learn. And that's tough. Just on your own, that is tough. So I think the current state of special educational needs, more can be done. If we were to really solve it, first of all, we need more budgets. We need more budgets in schools so that schools can afford to either bring in specialists to teach, and give seminars and do more for the teachers that are already employed in the schools, many of whom have been teachers for many, many years, to give them the foundation and their knowledge to deal with the kids in their own individual classrooms. Then I think, obviously, more time needs to be given to teachers in order to be able to learn this stuff. Because, again, otherwise, you may give them the budgets, but where the hell do you fit it in their schedule to be able to learn this stuff, to better deal with it? And then there just needs to be much better communication between parents and their teachers. And as we see in this episode, what a lot of the stuff is being said about Ben is he is difficult, he is challenging, he is so many different words to describe the same kind of thing. And I think more needs to be done to discourage the language that is used in these scenarios to give a better viewpoint and to remove a stigma in a way. I've spoken many times about mental health, and it's trying to move away from terms such as you've got poor mental health. You have, it's not so much that you've got poor mental health, it's that you've got a more a poor current state of mental well-being. There's a very different thing between mental health and mental well-being, and that again is just some of those things that you just go, we need to work on the wording sometimes, because if you say I've got poor mental health, most people are going to think they might use horrible terms like you're mental, or that you're a loose cannon, or various stuff like that. But if you say that you've got poor mental well-being, physically you may be fine. Often there's a correlation between mental health and physical health, but it's ultimately just saying that it can be as simple as saying that you've got depression. It could be as simple as saying that you're a little bit lonely, that you feel a little bit isolated. There's so many different things that can be quick fixes, but can also be much more longer term effects, which you have to deal with in whatever form that may be. Maybe it's cognitive behavioral therapy, maybe it's other methods of way of improving yourself. Wow, that went on much longer than my original outro did. And you know what? If you have stuck with me to this point, I don't know, give me like a double thumbs up in your comment or something like that to let me know that you've actually reached this stage and that you've actually stuck with me, because I appreciate I may have sounded very boring throughout this. Maybe I've sounded incredibly passionate about this. Obviously I'm no longer a teacher. I left the profession many years ago for reasons of feeling burnt out and that the profession wasn't being fairly supported, and many different reasons. Obviously working with the kids was always the highlight, and trying to tell parents and trying to have conversations with parents is always difficult, because parents think they know best and some teachers think they know best. I try to have a good conversation, and to give you one brief example of how difficult it can sometimes be to speak to parents. My very first placement, year 3 class, so there was a 6-year-old girl She came to me one day and she was really struggling. She's normally quite bright, and she, I was saying she needs some help. What's the matter? And she just asked to move closer to the board to read the questions because she was struggling to read it. So I kind of asked her a few questions and quickly determined I had a feeling that she may need glasses. She just maybe suffered from some poor vision qualities. I spoke to the dad when he came to pick her up that evening, just pulled him aside, just had a quiet one-to-one with him, just explained it. She said she was having headaches, all this kind of stuff, and just said, it might be worth considering just taking her to the opticians just to get her eyes checked out, just to kind of cross that bridge. It may not be what I thought, you never know. And this guy literally laid thick into me. Don't you in there tell me how to raise my child. It's like, whoa. This is where we need to work together on stuff like this. Don't just have a go at me just because I said she might need glasses. So yeah, it's hard. It's hard being a teacher if you haven't guessed. Right, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so very much if you have stuck with me to this point. As always, subscribe to the notifications, drop your comments below, join the Patreon, blah, 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 all that usual stuff. I really do appreciate it if you generally have stuck with me all the way to this point. This is now nearly an hour-long video compared to what is normally probably a 35-minute video. So much, much, much love and support to you all. That's going to do it for now. For now, my name's Kevin. I am a geek, and you've been watching Kevin the Geek. Goodbye.